Good afternoon. Kind of early stream because I actually managed to finish up work on time. And I felt like some 14. I've been kind of like last stream that I was leveling jobs. I was considering like getting all the way to 80 with both Dragoon and Dancer, and kind of just spending like an entire stream doing that. But I hit 80 in Dragoon and I hit 70 something in Dancer, and then I was like Dancer was really dragging, and like not having tech step is really weird. Most of the time I was doing daily roulettes to level up, so it was kind of, you know, it didn't really matter at the end of the day because a lot of it was like low level or level 50 stuff that I was doing most of the time. But once I ran out of those, I kind of, you know, put on like a couple of YouTube videos and see if I could do the high level ones to kind of get my head around the rotation. And like on Dragoon, it didn't feel... Well, there's no like obvious thing to tell me I'm like weighing anyone down. There's obviously an ability you're missing, one ability you're missing until you hit 80, and then there's two. But it's kind of... I think it transforms Gear Skull, if I remember correctly. I didn't think much of it then, but then I realized, like, as I went through a couple of Shadowbringers dungeons with Dancer, I'm like, oh, I'm missing Tech Step. And everyone probably realizes that too. So it felt a little bit bad, like, not having that contribution, because obviously I, you know, superpowered the melee I was with, but, like, I also wasn't giving everyone Tech Step, which, Tech Step does spice it up a bit by having to fit, like, a 4-step thing in there instead of just a 2-step, and Tech Step hits like a truck. Why do you only come out when I'm streaming? That's so weird. I swear I haven't seen any of those in weeks, and like my first 14 stream for the month? For the month. And they just come out of fucking nowhere. Goddamn fruit flies. I'm still planning on doing Blasphemous sometime this week. Yeah, I think just tonight I wasn't really feeling it, but I was also feeling trying to stream something, and also I want my damn abilities, so I have to do the job quests. So here we are. Yeah, and like I said, like, if this is a really short, or if the job quest stuff cleanup is really short, maybe I'll do some Dancer leveling afterward. That might be a good opportunity for me to talk about, like, because I'll have gone through 2 sets of job quest lines then, so it'd be a good opportunity, I think, to just, like, talk about some of my thoughts about them. Obviously I already talked about Dragoon a fair bit, but we've still got the ending to go. I will make a concession. I'm not going to be happy if they fridge... I forget her name. Thanks, Dragoon job quest, for not having her in it. But if she appears in the level 80... Okay, good. You probably should have put her in all of them, but, like, yeah. Disciple of War job. That's the one. Graoli. Graoli, yeah. Yeah, Stinian left. And then we hear from... Oh no, Houstonate. That's the one. Growly was the fucking dragon. Houstonate. I remember that. Yeah, if Houstonate doesn't appear in this, I'm still not gonna be happy. Like, if she doesn't appear in the climax of this. But, like, the level 81 is at least an opportunity to gravitate back to her. Like, you know what? That thought I was about to have is probably better for at the other end of this. So, let's begin. Ornkai would like to discuss events which may or may not be pertinent to your search.
Hello there, Rayon. I must say I could get used to the life in the Far East. Unlike those in Ishgard, Ingans harbour no ill feeling towards us Stravanians. You should really hear some of them, the things Karaku says. He keeps remarking that he wants me to stay here for eternity when he introduces me to new people. It seems he believes quite strongly that dragons bring good luck.
Uh-huh.
What is that expression I see on your face? Could it be jealousy?
I don't know, I can't turn around.
Rayon, do not worry yourself. You shall be just as popular here one day. More importantly, one of the new friends I have made through Karaku mentioned that he knew something that might prove relevant to our search. I was just about to go and meet him now. Why don't you accompany me?
Where are we going? Oh, can I flip over here? Sure can. I also really hate this fucking weapon. I really, really unreasonable dislike about this fucking weapon. Like, it's a mace with a, like, extra pointy bit on the end that's used as a lance. Like, fuck.
Give me a moment, I shall call him now.
Like, I think some of the animations do like a swing that could do that, but for like other lances, that's dumb unless they're like, you know, halberds or something. Maybe I gotta pay attention to the animations more. Maybe this actually makes a bit more sense than I'm making it out to be. I still think it's ugly. It is I, Ornkai. Oh. Hi.
Endless and most sincere apologies to you and yours for the wait. Yes, yes? What? Rayon! Do not worry. No more betrayals. Sworn on all the kami in creation I have. Yes, yes. Rayon, you have already made Gyodo's acquaintance. Come to hear about dragon legends. Yes, yes.
Yeah?
There's a place that comes to mind. The Azim Steppe. Of course. You can get there by following the one river, home to all Namazu. Go way upstream and you will reach the steppe. Yes, yes. It is here that a monstrous dragon as dark as the night sky is said to slumber.
Is that the Night Mother?
Dark as the night sky, you say? No more information do I have. Go to the marketplace on the Azim Steppe known as Reunion. You may find the answers you seek there. This could be the one, Rayon. The Horde was home to many a dark-scaled dragon after all. Let us hurry to Reunion.
Oh boy. Dusk Mother. That was the one I was thinking of. The one that gave birth to the Zayla? I forget. I really should revisit that legend. It hasn't come up in ages. And, like, the way they tell it, like, I'm not sure... Because there seems to be, like, some connection between Azim and either Azima, potentially Azim, but I don't think that probably makes sense. Makes much sense. Oh. Ornkai's already attracted attention, of course.
This goes so scaly. Did it just speak? Well, as these energetic children have come to me, it feels only natural that I try questioning them first. Perhaps your time would be best spent asking some of the more mature Aura if they know anything of the dragon Gyoda mentioned.
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure asking the fucking Oronio would be... give me a good answer.
Black dragon in these parts. Sure, I know of it. Storytellers say the fiend awakens once every few decades and goes on a wild rampage. When it's had its fill of destruction, it returns to its lair in the northwestern mountains and slumbers. If any tribe were able to slay such a beast, it would bring them great honor. We already have had our eyes on it for some time.
Oh! No, it's real. Okay. Damn. I was expecting much more like, oh, how dare you take our, gods and twist them into such tales.
You are looking for the dragon, are you? I did hear there's been a sighting recently. First one in 100 years, apparently. Not that I believe any of that nonsense. It would not surprise me if the whole story was dreamed up by some fool Oronir in his cups.
Wouldn't surprise me either, to be honest. Oh, yeah, yeah, and then we're gonna bother a Kestia, because... seems you'd be better served asking elsewhere. Yeah, no shit. You think at some point the Warrior of Light would put it together that, oh yeah, Kestia, can't... yeah.
Brown, help. These children are not playing nice. I do not suppose you have fared any better. It's said to live in the northwest. The dragon has truly been sighted recently. Our timing is perfect. I am glad we did not come this far only to find it in the midst of a deep slumber. Let us head for the mountains to the northwest. Now, children, do you not think it is time you were making your way back to Mummy and Daddy? We grown-ups have business to attend to.
I must say, this dragon is a lot more modernly spoken than I would have expected even of a child. Because, like, God only knows how fucking old, Orn Kai is, considering. But also, like, they would have grown up with other dragons in, like, wow. My memory of areas is deteriorating. Annex Shrine, that's it. And, like, the Churning Mists and that. So you'd think they'd be similarly spoken, but this one, like... I don't know. I don't mean this as a nitpick. I just find it interesting that... Ugh. I just find it interesting that is the case. Like, there's been obviously some choice, phrases and words that are used by characters that you probably wouldn't... that we wouldn't associate with in our history, right? Or based on tropes. So, like, characters who are more, like, Ishgardian, we probably wouldn't think of them using too much slang. Or at least, like, the ones that are in the higher districts. But then some of them definitely do, and it feels more like a character break. I wish I could think of, like, specific examples. But yeah, it's interesting sometimes, because there's a weird line to walk in, like, using a phrase by a character you probably wouldn't associate having the same vocabulary as that, and still making it feel kind of, I'm trying to think of a word that's not basically a variation of verisimilitude. It feels natural. Because, yeah, if the well-spoken aristocrat suddenly busts out like an Aussie slang, then I'm like... Sorry, what? Yeah. But, yeah, it's like, up until that, like, whole, okay, kids, don't you think Mummy and Daddy would be, don't you think it's a time to return to Mummy and Daddy? That feels like it, like, that second line feels like it was spoken by a different character, almost. Seems as good an area as any to commence our search. Ready to get started, Rayon? Sure. Dark as the night sky.
Well then, let us see if we cannot... Wait, what is that smell?
What's up? Uh-oh.
We about to learn that the locals refer to this warrior as a black dragon. You also on the hunt for this dragon? Hunt? Perish the thought. You've come to speak with it. Now I've heard everything. Speak, you say? You may be calm and willing to talk, but I assure you that black-scaled monster is not in the mood. It has thrashed 8 of our finest warriors. We are disgraced, but I must inform our Han of the battle's outcome. Well, he certainly was not interested in staying here any longer. Come along, Rayon. I think we may have finally found him this time.
I wonder. Search. Okay. Where are we? Oh. Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, that's a black dragon. It is her, I'm sure of it. Oh. Wow. That escalated quickly. Ooh, that has a surprisingly short cast time. Uh-huh. Okay. At least we're not killing them. Yo, what the fuck? Actually, what is that?
Found him. I beg of you, listen to me. She's mad with fury. My voice does not reach her. This clash will only end if one of you perishes. Let us retreat for now and rethink our approach.
No, just backflip. Oh. Okay, I didn't actually expect... I was kind of skeptical whether we would actually see a dragon up here.
We've come so far and overcome so many obstacles. Yet when we finally meet Founham, we cannot even speak with her. My apologies, Rayon, but pray return to reunion without me. I need some time to take all of this in. Perhaps a spot of hunting would help clear my head.
I actually really would have appreciated if that was actually kind of more of a brawl. Or more pronounced... sorry, a longer encounter. I don't know if, like, item level or anything has anything to do with it, because obviously, like, I would be level 68 instead of 70. And it didn't seem like it synced an item level to the gear, but... But yeah, having that go to shit immediately, and then having, like, a surprisingly intense encounter... even if only mechanically, because, like, as you'll notice, like, the proximity thing, I just needed to go to the other side of the hitbox, not to take barely any damage. And that and that breath, though it had, like, a very quick wind-up, it didn't do all that much damage. Again, not sure how much my level has to do with that, ultimately, but, yeah. It would have been cool if that lasted a bit longer, because it's, like, an absolute, like, just a complete fucking, out-of-nowhere slam of, like, no, this dragon's for real. You really need to rethink your approach here. God, that would have been awesome. I mean, it still kind of communicated that, but yeah.
Yes, I am somewhat calmer now, Rayon. Thank you for asking. The key to all of this is discovering the source of
Oh, there it is.
Excuse me. The source of Founham's rage. Once we know this, we can decide our next move. Pray, give me some time. I will not allow our journey to end in failure.
Dragon sound. Yay, I finally get Nostrond. Right, and it's Mirage Dive that gives me that. Gotcha. Ornkai is in very low spirits.
Ah, Rayon. Nice to see you again. Pray forgive me. I have not made any progress in ascertaining the reason for Foundom's rage. It's truly pathetic. I've been alive far, far longer than you, and yet have nothing to show for it.
Surely you did not think me younger than you. I would have put you at least, like, 100, to be honest.
I may be small, but you should know that we Dravanians live far longer than any man.
Wait. We do live an awfully long time.
Ran, I think I may have got it.
Dravanians live for eons.
I have heard tales from Gullen Bursty of dragons going into seclusion for centuries while carrying grief in their hearts. Ultimately, they are unable to bear the strain, and it breaks something fundamental within them. Many a year will need to pass before I come of age to choose a consort, but I believe that they help in saving oneself from the abyss of isolation. That is why your kind elects to marry, is it not?
We marry for love, we marry to save our race from extinction. I have no idea why anyone marries. Oh, that's a great fucking, that's a great ace option. God, I don't think any of my characters would actually say this. That's, yeah. Ray would probably be the closest, but, like, she's also not straight, so...
Love? Sounds fairly similar to our reason for choosing a consort. Regardless, I am almost certain that Foundom's fury was caused by the profound loneliness she has endured over the past millennium. Leaving Father's side after they spent so long together must have caused her intense anguish. The question is, how do we heal her pain? I see you two survived your talk with the dragon. Was it a fruitful discussion as you had hoped for? Not that it matters much. A group of Kesteri merchants have pooled their resources and hired a hunter said to be quite handy with the lance. I have my doubts he's capable of slaying the worm, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to watch him try.
Is Estinian literally about to walk in from off-screen? That would be wild.
Wonder who the dragon slayer in question could be. I struggle to imagine that there are many men with the skill to go toe-to-toe with a dragon like Foundom. However, if he is truly a threat, and we cannot risk him reaching her before us, we may not have a plan, but we have little choice. Come, Rayon. Let us hurry to where we last saw Foundom.
Like, Estinian's about to walk in from off-screen, and I'm like, don't hurt the dragon. And he's like, fuck off, and then we fight. And I'll get my actual fight with Estinian, finally. Oh, that would be fucking hilarious. Well, I say actual fight with Estinian. I just felt like the one in... Was it ARR? Was kind of underwhelming. I mean, obviously, it's... I can't compare ARR to the encounter design now, but... It's still kind of flat. I think even allowing for ARR, it's still kind of just... eh. Could have been a lot better. Oh. Oh god, why are we going to Barnabas Metal?
Where is she? We must find her before that hunter does.
It is good to see you again, Warrior of Light. Yeah, of course. Hey, bud. It would seem that we two Azure Dragoons share one target. Though I suppose neither of us still hold that mantle. Old habits do not die so easily.
The Azure Dragoon of Ishgard?
Hello? And who exactly is your diminutive friend, Rayon? This is on Kai, baby dragon.
A journey to the far east in search of an ancient... A journey to the far east in search of an ancient worm's consort.
Quite a tale indeed. At the end of my own journey, I chose to continue my travels and eventually found myself in the Far East. It was here that word of the dragon you seek reached mine ears. It had been my intention to act as an intermediary between man and dragon, assuming the beast could be reasoned with. If not, I was prepared to brandish my lance. Regardless, I would wager that the young one has the right of it. What is more, she is doubtless still suffering from the effects of Nidhogg's hateful dirge that summoned the Horde. The Dreadworm's hold over his brood was absolute. His unquenchable thirst for vengeance spread through the Horde, leaving none untouched. To think one of them was able to resist his call to decimate Ishgard. It should come as no surprise that she would succumb to madness. The worm spent a millennium in solitude, resisting Nidhogg's demands for vengeance. Oh shit, that is a good point, actually. It's not even just solitude. It's solitude, and the only thing you can hear is your either progenitor or one of his relatives just screaming about how you should kill mortals. Think about one way she may be saved. We weaken her enough that she is willing to listen to reason.
We have already tried that approach. It did not work last time, and I very much doubt repeating it will change anything.
I do not advocate the same approach, little one. I would have you do more than simply talk to her. Nay, you shall use your roar. That is the only way you can help hope to let her know the war is ended. That her consort waits her in the skies above.
My roar?
You have the two Dragoons that bested Nidhogg at your side. There is naught to fear. All you need to do is harness your roar to clear the haze that clouds the worm's eyes.
I shall do my best. Should we fail again, I fear we may not be blessed with another chance. Pray lend me your strength, the two Dragoons.
I still didn't really take up that title, but sure. Well, no, Nidhogg's Eye did choose me, and that's the title they give to people. Let us depart. Frenzied Dragon awaits us on Bottom's Metal. The time is nigh to free her from war's tragedy. Also, it's a bit weird that we just kind of threw away that title without much ceremony, if I'm being honest. Or at least not much ceremony that, like, I can recall. What's that? Really? Also, I did a bad and repeated the rotation incorrectly. Fuck, left it right next to a Stinian. Oops. Innovation. The fuck? Hey! Oh. Oh dear. Oh god. That's not good. Okay, yep. Ow. Oh. Oh. I didn't see that. Shit. Oh. Hope you learn how to dodge. We did it. I'm glad they've introduced voice acting into more duties like this, because, like, keeping track of what's happening by text tends to be a bit of a pain. With me!
Now, little one, roar with all your being. Fauna, hear my cry. Why? Why must we go to war? I have no ill will, no desire to fight. I have only silence, a most deafening silence. It is no use. I cannot reach her. Do not be so quick to abandon hope, my son.
Oh! It's that dragon. Maybe.
I am come for thee, dearest Faunum. Whose wings of white, long have they filled my dreams?
Verdurfolnia. Verdurfolnia?
Verdurfolnia, my love. Father. Noble dragoons, on Kai, I give you my thanks. Were it not for your succor, I would not have been reunited with my beloved. Allow me to thank you as well. I had truly thought of Vidorfolnir lost to me. Mere words will scarce be enough to convey mine appreciation.
And yeah, we did actually fucking fridge Houston. Nice.
When the conflict began 1,000 years past, Nidhogg demanded we exact vengeance upon man. However, I refused to allow his hatred to take root within me. I could not bring myself to forget the days when I soared the azure skies with Vidorfolnir, night on back. A dragoon cannot simply shut her eyes to her sire's call. Or a dragon, sorry. To do so would cause her great torment. Thus I bid Faunum flee to the east, that she might live in peace until the final strains of the dragon's song did fade to an end. Duty-bound to protect Zenith, I remained behind in Travania, but ever did I regret not following my heart and my beloved. It was after she left for eastern lands that thou didst come into this world, my son. I finally see why I was given a name meaning a one born of sadness. Alas, I fear I will never be your match, father. Fountain barely even noticed my roar.
Little not your efforts on, Kai. I should not have known to come here were it not for thy roar. It reached mine ears, strong and clear, as I soared the skies above.
Father. Well, I suppose you are quite keen to talk with Fountain. It's been quite some time since you last met, after all. Let us make haste. I'm not used to see my father so enamored.
Even dragons can feel embarrassment. It would have actually been really cool to subvert, like, just Justinian popping up and actually having Hustine, like, harness her powers and, like, actually be the one commanding the fight. But no, we had to pull in the one person we didn't need anything like that established, and who was just here because, oh yeah, remember Justinian?
I give both of you my sincerest thanks. I find myself especially indebted to you, Rayan. Our adventures in investigating these legends shall live long in my memory. And you, Azure Dragoon, your strength far exceeds the tales I have heard.
Words are appreciated, but the appellation is unnecessary. I have long since left that life behind. My past experiences with Nidhogg made me eager to see Fountain saved. When the Dread Worm took me as his vessel, I felt his mad heart's palpitations as my own. There was no end to the sadness and distress that flowed from his soul. However, it was this ordeal that allowed me to harness the dragon within, whilst retaining my sense of self.
Wait! Oh, come on! Are you seriously telling me this is the point where they explain that thing, and we could have assumed that, like, fucking... We already saw displays of this before this quest happens in Stormblood. Like, no shit, he's harnessed that. Like, why wasn't this in the MSQ at some... Or, I guess... Wait, did we meet up with him in Stormblood? Because he's hopping around in Girabania, and I guess, like, we don't find out he's been around here until, yeah, the final Dragoon questline. Final bit of the Dragoon questline. Fuck, is Kryl and Tataru trying to track down Astinian in the end of Shadowbringers? Or was that also happened before? No, Stormblood goes to Yotsuyu, and then the soul snatching starts happening, and I think Astinian of his own accord goes to Garlemald. So I guess it makes sense that he's kind of like worked his way around here. To some degree, at least. I guess it just sucks that, like... I think it was reasonable to assume, just based on his appearance in Stormblood, and, like, specifically calling upon Nidhogg, that he was in control, right? It would have been nice... It's nice, obviously, to get the, confirmation that, like, his time as Nidhogg's vessel is the thing that steeled him towards being able to control the power of Nidhogg without succumbing to it, right? That is definitely a cool thing to have. And I guess, like, coming back to this after so much retrospect, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I kind of assumed something like that. Like, like, as far as I remember, it's not confirmed. But what really sucks is that there is another character, specifically, like, exclusive to the Dragoon questline,
who is in a far more dangerous situation that could have culminated in a very similar way that would have ultimately hit harder, because it is a more notable thing that she was able to control it. Because she's not like Estinian, she's not like the Warrior of Light. She's just a random person who drank dragon blood and is trying to stop the transformation. Like, I guess you could argue that, like, you needed two Azure Dragoons to take down Faunum, but I don't know, it just doesn't work as, like... It doesn't work as a good, like, culmination of the Dragoon quest lines as much as it could have. Like, we haven't seen Estinian since ARR in this questline, and we had a far more interesting experience with someone else in Heavenswood. So then coming back to this, and then, oh look, it's Estinian. What, Houston A who? Like, you ought to be capable of the same now, Rayon. Shall doubtless serve you well in battles to come. Like right there, okay? Houston coming up with something that would teach the Warrior of Light would be confirmation that she's fucking done it. She's achieved a dream of, like, being on par. In some way. Like, maybe not this, like, raw powerful, but in terms of technique, as actually has something to share with the Warrior of Light. It's the first interaction we have with her is teaching, I think, essentially Battle Litany? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can talk all day about, like, improving the storyline and stuff like that, but, like, it's not that this doesn't work, it's just, like, I guess seeing the potential, I'm just like, I feel like people who wrote the better stuff later on in the game would have actually done that, but, oh.
If you're truly done with your old title, then I have a proposal for a new one. The Crimson Dragoon. Much more befitting now that the two of you fight alongside dragons, harnessing their strength as your own.
I could see myself warming up to this new name. Best of luck to you. Wait, why even give... No, this is... Okay, no, I actually have a problem with this now. Estinian's whole thing was throwing off the mantle of the Azure Dragoon. I don't know if it's actually appropriate to give him that title when, like, someone who it is notable has managed to step up to a similar level as the Azure Dragoons gets a like name as commemoration. I don't like this, actually, yeah. Best of luck to you, Onkai. I expect you to be as strong as your father the next time our paths do cross. Warrior of Light, I look forward to the day when we are able to fight side by side once more. Keep well.
I shall have nothing to worry about. I will become just as capable as father, so that I may someday soar the skies like a dragoon, with a dragoon like you on my back. Thank you once again for everything, Rayon. It is time for me to begin the journey home with father and Faunum, but know that I will ever be in your debt. I sincerely hope that this is not the last of our adventures.
Oh my god. We don't even go back to Houston to confirm that we actually helped her friend. She really was, like, front to back just fucking fridged. Oh, I fucking hate that. This concludes the thing. Yep. Finish Shadowbringers. You must complete the role quest, Courage Born of Fear. Ooh, pretty gauge. Yep. Yep. Strength of the first brood's gaze. Their gaze can be strengthened by executing Mirage Dive up to 2 times. When under the brood's full gaze, you can execute Gurskol, which grants life of the dragon. So long as this effect remains active, you can execute powerful actions such as Nastrond or Stardiver. Alright, I'm gonna put that into... Actually, I'll do that now, because fuck it, I'm already here. We're gonna have to shrink you down, buddy. Oh god, I think we might actually have to go 60 to fit it into this space here. I gotta sort out these buttons, I think. I really wish they condense High Jump and Mirage Dive. Like, they've talked, the devs have talked a lot about, like, button bloat, in the past, and, like, I definitely get that concern, but I feel like almost anytime they've acted on it, or, no, not any time they've acted on it, but, like, the one notable example of them acting on it and, like, hitting something that everyone loved was obviously, oh my god. The Samurai ability. You know the one. Kaiten. That's it. God, I almost fucking forgot. Like, they hit Kaiten, and then everyone doesn't like that. It's like, oh, okay. But then, like, you've got High Jump, and which turns into Mirage Dive. And I don't know if... Like, I don't know if Mirage Dive turns into something else. I don't think it does. Well, actually, I know it doesn't, because all of these are other buttons. These are ones that you can't put on your bars because they turn into something. Or they are transformed from something else. Yeah, no, like, they could condense High Jump and Mirage Dive into one button. Because, yeah, like, you can't use this without this, so it seems like just a natural flow to make it switch in from one to the other. I don't know. Gone, but not forgotten. Alberic is keen to hear of your adventures. Oh boy.
Ah, Rayon. It's been too long since we last spoke. Your visits are far more frequent than those of another student, former student of mine, however. It seems he still prefers to keep his own company. Same could be said of Houstone, who has made quite the name for herself as a hunter in Dravania, according to Orn Kai. Ah, unfortunate timing. Speak of the dragon and he shall appear. What, Orn Kai? Ah, cool. Greetings. Would I be correct in guessing you have returned fresh from one of your adventures?
I traveled to a well beyond our own. I laid to rest the dreaded Andrea in a land known as Norvrant. Oh. Which one was Andrea again? That would have been Fizz range quest, so Render Ray, right? Kind of makes sense to focus on the battle for Dragoon and also Ray.
Think that such a place could truly exist.
That you have fought such terrifying foes. To fall so far from grace. It's a tragic tale, if I've heard one.
One similar to that of Nidhogg.
Aye. Nothing will ever compare to his malice. Even death could not quell his thirst for vengeance. Did I spill something? Sorry, I'm noticing that there's like a lot of like reflective spots on the bottom of my monitor that weren't here this morning. Weird. I'm gonna make a habit of cleaning my desk a bit more, I think. At least Andrea was not nearly so consumed by hate. I doubt not that Render Ray's soul is at peace.
Peace. I wonder if Nidhogg ever found it.
If his soul yet lingers, doomed to wander endlessly. What?
That is too cruel a fate, even for him.
I share your sentiments. For as the Azure Dragoon, I once gazed into his heart, as he gazed into mine. Such rage and sorrow.
I will not accept this. That none should mark his passing is more than I can bear. What say you, Rayon?
Perhaps we could honor who he once was, if not what he became. I too was an Azure Dragoon, Albrecht speaks true. I mean, like, I want to say this, but, like, again, in the questline, it feels like that just never came up. It's like, oh, you're an Azure Dragoon now, haha. Anyway, like, contesting with that power was never made a problem for the Warrior of Light, so far as I remember. Or at least definitely didn't feel that way. The person who dealt with that more, or the person who dealt with something more than that, more along that line, was Estinian and Houstone. Houstone obviously not Nidhogg directly, but definitely a very analogous version of that. Perhaps we could honor who he once was.
Then we are in agreement. I must admit that as part of Hraesvelger's brood, I have little knowledge of Nidhogg. A deeper insight is needed if I am to properly pay my respects. Founum is of his brood. If anyone would know, it is her. Let us make haste for Zenith.
Oh, jeez, okay, yep. Wait, are we really going up to talk to...
Founum has come. Welcome, noble Dragoon. Onkai has explained all. Pray tell, what was Nidhogg to you?
A relentless adversary.
And much more. For through his power you are forever joined. Two souls, intertwined by fate. Though you have faced Nidhogg's wrath and sensed his pain, you cannot know him as we dragons once did. We would fain hear his tale. Nidhogg was without equal, even among our kind. Destined was he to guard this world from catastrophe in place of his sire. He valued strength above all else, considered the affairs of mortals beneath his notice. Only the 7 great worms were worthy of his attention, and among them none but Ratatoska truly understood him. Her song was beautiful indeed. She graced both dragon and man with her wisdom. She was invited by Thordan, King of Men, to speak on our behalf. Ratatoska expressed our desire to live in harmony. However, it was known that Nidhogg did not share these views. When the king asked her how her brother saw mankind, she did not hide the truth. He believed that such frail creatures were incapable of protecting the star, that the task must be entrusted to the 7 great worms alone. And that is why Thordan slew her? Ratatoska had no intention of sowing discord, but the king could not countenance that his kind would be treated with such contempt that we dragons would seek to claim this star as our own. He turned on Ratatoska, taking not only her eyes, but her life. When Nidhogg discovered that King Thordan had murdered his beloved, His fury was beyond reckoning. For all his strength, he could not master his own rage. It utterly consumed him. Dragons, men, we are all the same. Slaves to our emotion, subservient to our hearts. Yet there are those who would seek another path, as I once did. I turned my back on my father and his quest for vengeance. Valiant Dragoon, by your strength was the Dragon Song War ended. By your compassion was a new alliance forged. Rayan and I are living proof that we can live side by side. We shall speak the message of peace to man and dragon alike. And when we are gone, our descendants will do the same. Tell them of Nidhogg, his strength, his weakness, his love, his hate. Tell them the truth. Orn Kai, you wish to commemorate Nidhogg's passing, yes? As my father once enjoyed the fragrance of mist lilies, perhaps they could make a suitable offering. What a splendid idea. Thank you, Falnum. I've seen such flowers blooming in old Tarn. Follow me.
This quest is also being very heavy-handed. Like, I guess part of it is Orn Kai being, not naive. What's the word I'm thinking of here? Naive's probably not too bad of a descriptor, but essentially, the idea that, or he's very eager is probably the thing. Over-eager to do these things, and especially focusing, I think, on, Nidhogg and who he was and not what he did, is ultimately kind of pointed out as misguided by Falnum, because it's important to remember what Nidhogg did too, and the tale that it can tell us. Because there have been many, many, many examples in 14 of people not able to, wait, what am I doing? Oh, search for Miss Lilies. Many people aren't able to maintain that balance between, like, following one's heart and being consumed by your emotions. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, but, like, with a lot of the writing with the job quests, especially, even ones as late as this in the game, they don't have a lot of room to work with. Or rather, they don't have a lot of time to work with, so it does come off a bit more heavy-handed than a lot of the game, which is given a lot more time to breathe. I've said this endlessly. But I feel like it's really... Like, I feel that friction especially here, because while other job quests I think have been worse, I think this one suffers the most from trying to cross a lot of distance in a way that makes a lot of sense, but still doesn't really have the time to explore all of it. Other job quests make different mistakes whilst also doing that, Paladin being one of them. But yeah, Dragoon feels like this is a testament to the problem of trying to write for a job quest. Because there's a lot of stuff you could say, especially, you know, in retrospect and in one quest after Shadowbringers. And it's worth exploring those things. You just don't always have the best, like, venue to do it in a job quest, I guess. Yeah. So there were Miss Lilies here after all. It would appear my memory served me incorrectly. Pity that the same cannot be said of my eyes. It is no matter. There is one thing that concerns me, however. In your funerary rites, the offering of flowers and such occurs at a grave or place of significance, I believe. But where should we choose for Nidhogg? That's a good question.
Girabania. Yes, that could be considered his final resting place. That was where you fought the primal born of his eyes. Though I must say, Rayan, you seem rather adept at putting down dragons. Primals that resemble dragons. Makes me glad that we are not enemies. To matters at hand, then. I shall go on ahead and meet you in Girabania.
Are we gonna go up to the menagerie? That would be cool. Well, we'll probably run into fucking Estinian again at this rate. Like, Jesus. Hey, I need to go to the Royal Menagerie. Oh, okay. Why's that? Reasons. Okay. Can you be more specific? I'm meeting a dragon there. Oh!
What a relief to have found you at last. I've become rather lost, you see. Perhaps we had best hurry on to the Royal Menagerie before I lose my way again. Nidhogg, we are come to honor your memory. Though now that we are here, I am at the loss for words. Rayan, is there anything you wish to say?
You will be remembered. So it seems a bit of a backhanded compliment, if I must say. From distant star, our father bore 7 eggs. Great worms rose forth, powerful and wise. On blackened wings, one soared on high with a roar that set the world to tremble, guarding their home in the father's stead. He was fearsome yet just. Man, wicked and vain, betrayed the worm and his kin, slaying his beloved and plucking out his eyes. Thenceforth he lived only for vengeance, his wrath irrepressible. 1,000 years thence, 2 champions of mankind were granted great strength by the stolen eyes. Destined were they to face the worm, who had risen once more to wage war on his sworn enemy. At the end of their struggle, the wayward sun fell silent. These guardians continue to watch over the star, their heroic deeds recounted by minstrels and storytellers far and wide.
Rayan, I am not blind to the sins Nidhogg committed. I mourn the loss of what he once was, what he may have become had he been dealt a kind of fate. Although this was but a small gesture, I am sure that our thoughts have reached him. I have much to ponder on the return journey. I expect that Alberic will wish to hear what we have learned from Foundham. Perhaps you could visit him in Curthus.
Cool. 1 mention of Houston A. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. Yeah, I feel like there is so much more that they could have done with this. In terms of yeah, I don't like I really like the sentiment as a follow-up, but like it feels like an interesting choice to like I don't know. I feel like Houston A could have added a bit to this. Being, like, the victim of one of the people, like, essentially on the side of the dragons in the Dragon Song War, and really selling, like, a lot of the different sides of the problems that essentially were caused as a result of the Dragon Song War. You can't lay them at the feet of Nidhogg, right? But, like, the parable told in that little scene there is also very careful to implicate the betrayal by humans, thus not talking about the agony caused over millennia by Nidhogg is kind of leaving out a big part of it, and I feel like Houston could have actually spoken to that. Like, even if we just, like, rocked up, like, or, you know, ran into her when we were doing some stuff during this quest, like, actually kind of thinking about more than just, like, the literal, oh, Nidhogg was a bad guy, but we should remember that example because, yeah, that kind of fucking sucked, didn't it? Is a bit, like, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's a weird line to balance, but at every point they've just thrown out Houston, and I don't like that. Because I think Houston is actually a really interesting example of different things that have, or a different variant of Dragoon, and who comes from a very different path than the one that Estinian or the Warrior of Light walks. And, like, having those three perspectives and, like, reflecting on the Dragon Song War feels like a more good use of time here than, like, helping Ornkai mourn Nidhogg because he feels that it should be acknowledged the dragon he was. Yeah. Were you able to pay your respects? Also, I've completely forgotten Alberic's voice, but this is the last time I'm talking to him, so... Oh well. I see. It's the first time I've heard of such a detailed account of King Thornton's acts. Betrayal in the moment, but a betrayal nonetheless. Pity he is far beyond the reach of justice. While it may be hard to come to terms with the crimes of our forebears, we must accept the past for what it is. Of course, I shall be sharing this information with the rest of the Temple Knights. No doubt they would be keen to speak with others of Nidhogg's brood to verify this version of events. If they hadn't been doing that already, which, like... The implication here is worrying that they hadn't been doing that, or that the fucking... Or that the Temple Knights didn't already know, but... In the meantime, there is still much to be done in building relations between man and dragon. We will aim to follow the example set by you and Ornkai, and work together for the good of all. May the Fury guide you both. I don't know. Bolt from the Black. The Blood Dragoon? Ugh. Thought I was given the name the Crimson Dragoon. What the shit? Yeah. Ultimately, I'm a bit half and half on it. I think, well, first off, I think the Lancer quest line... The Lancer quest line and the Heavensward Dragons Dragoon quest line are definitely the standouts here. I actually really enjoyed the Lancer quest line. Like, I went back and watched a bit of it, too. And I think, like, there is, like, a fairly basic but ultimately cool story told there. ARR Dragoon... it's obviously trying... Like, I feel like its whole purpose is to try and put the Warrior of Light into a position where they are as strong a Dragoon as Estinian, because he obviously has a very specific empowerment, right? And I think the purpose of the ARR stuff is primarily to kind of make it clear that the Warrior of Light is still an exceptional Dragoon. I feel like there could have been a different way of doing that, though, and which, like, broadly speaking, obviously, I don't know how far they plan this stuff in advance. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, it's not really, or they don't do this anymore, obviously, but when it came to A Realm Reborn, it was probably just set up to, okay, we've got it in a good place, cool, let's run with it let's think about it when we get to Heavensward. And they did a good job with the Heavensward one. Like, because a Dragoon facing a similar circumstance to the Warrior of Light and Estinian, but also being confronted by, like, the baseline, or, sorry, the really shitty way that heretics are defined by the Ishgardians, and how their faith kind of, like, throws out, like, one of its, like, greatest assets in the war, because, oh, you drank dragon blood, even though you didn't choose to, sorry, you're an enemy now. Like, I think there's like, a really good exploration made there, and also shows, like, an alternate way that Dragoons can be elevated, essentially, because it is implied that Hustonay, maybe, like, obviously not to the degree of the Warrior of Light, but, like, has a chance to harness the power of dragons in a parallel way. And in hindsight, actually, that probably should have been something that happened to the Warrior of Light, if I'm being honest. Obviously, you can't do it from the specific way it's set it up here, because if your character's not Ishgardian, it can't obviously work the way Hustonay did. Like, I don't know, maybe there is a second eye, maybe there's an extra eye floating around, but that would obviously be a big thing. So, I get why they went to the second eye, but it would have been really cool to actually have these 3 Dragoons from very different backgrounds, all affected by the Dragon Song War in very different ways, like, coming together in the end in this, like, one last quest where they all kind of reflect on the Dragon Song War, and then a dragon asks them, hey, can we pay respect to Nidhogg? Or the memory of Nidhogg, at least, because I think it's worth remembering. And then all 3 of them looking around at each other and going, yeah, you know what, that's a good point. And especially with the Warrior of Light, have it, like, obviously the you will be remembered is calling upon a specific thing. But yeah, like, from a more broader storytelling point, like, there was kind of a missed opportunity here to bring in Hustonay for this kind of, like, final little discussion about the Dragon Song War and Nidhogg and the Dragoons' relation to that. Because ultimately the Dragoons wouldn't exist without the dragons. Like, they just wouldn't. Because the way the Dragoons came about is essentially the being empowered by the eyes. Or at least a lot of it is informed by that. Yeah, and then the Stormblood one, like, I like the concept, again, like, kind of going on this whirlwind adventure, but, like, it was really missing something in it that was, like, a through line for a character. And Ornkai had a little bit going on, but, like, most of the stuff up until that point was just kind of distractions. And obviously, tracking down a dragon that's been missing for thousands of years, it's gonna be hard. That's something that can happen. But, like, thinking about, like, the way that, cultures, for example, demonize, praise, whatever you want, creatures like this, and how that kind of set a lot of things in motion, even in the Dragon Song War, would have been a really cool thing to have. And I think having Ornkai and Hustonay there would have been a good catalyst for that. Also, just having Hustonay maybe even struggling to control her powers, and, like, coming through in the end and teaching the Warrior of Light something. That would have been really cool, in my opinion. But no, instead we kind of got just the runaround, and then, oh look, it's Estinian. He taught us something. Because of course he did. I don't know, like, it's unfortunately incoherent in a way that I feel like is just the consequence of the job quests being kind of thought of in isolation instead of, like, as an overall story. And I don't think that's a fair criticism, ultimately. Because they probably couldn't plan it like that. A lot of them were probably written by different people, for all we know. Yeah. And, like, specifically how they kind of work around the idea that the Warrior of Light is also an Azure Dragoon, I was really curious to see what they did with that. It turns out they did fucking nothing with it. There is an Azure Dragoon, don't worry about that for Heavensward, and then, oh, we've cast off the mantle by Stormblood. It's just like, okay, so that was never a thing. We needed an explicit way to empower the Warrior of Light to be, like, on par or better than Estinian, and that was the way to do it. And that was the only purpose of it. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of a mixed bag, all things considered. Which is a shame, because the Heavensward bit in particular gave me a lot of hope that, oh, because they could reuse this character and build upon her, especially with her relationship with Honkai. But then, no, for Stormblood, she's nowhere to be seen after we get the initial quest. And then in the Shadowbringers follow-up, she just gets mentioned, oh yeah, she's doing fine. I don't know. Yeah. Not the best writing. Ultimately, I think, just kind of middling. As opposed to, like, the offensively bad that's, like, Paladin. But, hey, what are you gonna do? Actually, I think I'm gonna take a brief little break here. Before we get started with the rest of the dancer stuff. Where are we gonna hang out? Fuck even are we? I'll just wait out here. I got the lean on this character. I think I do. Yeah. Nice. No, don't look at the camera. Alright. I will be right back. I'm just gonna get some water and go to the bathroom and that, and when we return, we're gonna do the Dancer quest line. Now, because I'm not at 80, I'm probably not gonna, like, I can't do the Shadowbringers one. If we finish it relatively quickly, I might do some, like, dungeons or something like that, just to kind of work with Tech Step, I guess. See how that goes. But yeah, I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, just gonna check something real quick. Okay, good. I noticed some frame drops. Or what I thought was frame drops. And I think I realized what the problem was. I had a page with some ads on it going. It looks like it didn't actually cause any frame drops, but it spiked the, it spiked the, bitrate a little bit, so... Yeah. Anyway. Back to Dancer. Whereabouts were we? Uh-oh. Hang on. Is that today? No, 2 days from now. Really? 2 days from now? Sorry, I'm just looking at a maintenance thing. On the 9th of February, from 5 till 9 my time, maintenance will be performed on all worlds. Oh. Hold on. Does it say why? Oh, just hot fixes. In general. That kind of sucks. Although I wasn't planning on streaming any more 14 this week, so... Or, especially on Thursday, or during the week, so... Kinda dodged a bullet there, which is nice. Alright. Hello, friends. A soiree in the Sultanate. Nashmira? Did I call her Mayra or Mira? I think Mayra. Nashmira is ready to take the show on the road. OBS, are you... Okay, yep, you're good. Well, that is my star pupil. You couldn't have come at a better time. A messenger just arrived. It would appear that Master Gigaruju has received a response from his friend in the Sultanate. As for the details, he would deliver them to us in person. Why don't you go on ahead to his villa? I will fetch Renard and be along shortly. He is hoping that Master Gigaruju is a man of his word. At any rate, you should go on ahead. I'll see to it that we're ready to strike off again at any time. I was gonna try and, just one last-ditch attempt of trying to convince us to stay here or some shit. Well, if it isn't my second favorite dancer. Good news, my boy. Thanks to the highest recommendation of yours, truly. My friends at the Syndicate would be more than happy to host one of your performances in Uldar. You have our deepest gratitude, Master Gigaruju. Truly, your generosity knows no bounds. Think nothing of it. Your performance gave me a thrill I'll not soon forget, and while I'd have nothing more than to keep you all to my own, I'd be remiss if I didn't share my most remarkable discovery with the rest of the realm. That goes for you in particular, Miss Renard. You may be a bit rough around the edges, but that just adds to your untamed, dare I say, feral allure. Okay. Nothing would make me happier than to go down in history as the man who introduced your beauty to Eorzea. Why, Master Gegaruju, you're making me blush. Gah, that'll take me. I simply can't bear the thought of that you performed on my stage for the last time. You'll grace me with one final farewell performance, won't you? Surely, after all I've done for you. Our apologies, Master Gegaruju, but we must not keep our audience in the Sultanate waiting. After all, this is but the second stop on our journey, a journey we must see through to the end. And besides, while your words do Renar and us all a great honor, I would remind you that the girl is still an apprentice. Excess praise can lead to overconfidence, and overconfidence to carelessness, and carelessness to an untimely fall. Do you hear me, Renar? No matter what glowing words your admirers may heap upon you, remember that your journey as a dancer has only just begun. Keep your feet planted firmly on the ground, lest you stumble on the road to achieving your full potential. But of course, and yet it's truly inspiring to have such a devoted fan, is it not? Why, it helps me appreciate just how much I've blossomed as a dancer in such a short time. I do not mean to make light of your achievements. I ask only that you stay focused on the task at hand. Continue to hone your craft and not let yourself get swept away by unchecked emotion. And with that, we should be taking our leave. Master Gegaruju, we thank you for your patronage and hospitality. When our business in Eorzea is done, we will return to fully express our gratitude. You need not feel compelled to travel with the troop, Pelton. I trust that you have matters of your own that you would attend to along the way. We shall await you in Uldar. I mean, I could use a lift. Wouldn't reject that, you know? Oh well. Oop. Alright, where are we going? Just outside the Adventurers Guild. Yep, there you go. Yeah, It's like, when in a scenario like this, whenever someone, like, starts overusing terms like exotic when they describe, like, it gets applied a lot to, like, cultural, fuck, what's the word I'm looking for here? It gets applied a lot to, cultural practices and stuff like that, but and sometimes it's obviously still, like, a bit gross, but when you're using that to describe people, especially when the one feral comes up for a Mikote, it's a bit like, don't know. No, I know how I feel about that, and it's gross. Look at all the people. Wonder how many new fans I'll make here. 1,000? 1,000,000? Oh, I can hardly wait. So this is Uldar, Jewel of the Desert. We're not here to see the sights. No, we must decide upon a suitable venue for our next performance. As a matter of fact, I already have an idea. I was thinking we might put on a show in Stone's Throw, a settlement outside of town, said to be home to the poor and downtrodden. Are you sure of this, Mistress Neshmera? I agree that the arts should be enjoyed by the lowborn as well as the high, but is some glorified shantytown truly the best place for us to find an audience here? I would have it no other way. Now listen to me, Pelton, and listen carefully. Oh? You will recall that I told you that our Kriegstance has the unique power to clear hearts and minds of worries, and lift the spirits of all who behold it. Put another way, bringing joy and succor to the scorned and the suffering is no less than our calling in life. In Limsa as well, our audience included many who were down on their luck, and yet it did not seem those troubles weighed so heavily in their hearts. Mayhap this is a remnant of their pirate heritage, a flagon of ale in hand and a song on the lips, and all their cares fade away. Uldara is different. Here I feel the scars of the calamity run deeper, particularly among those who lack the coin needed to rebuild their lives to their satisfaction. Stone's Throw it will be. I can think of no place more in need of what we offer.
You there! Ho! Halt, I say! You're the dancer troupe that's come at the invitation of the Syndicate, yes? On the authority of the Brass Blades, we command you to desist at once.
Excuse me?
Fear not, you've done naught wrong. It's just, well, Stone's Throw is not safe for visitors these days, you see. A group of real rabble-rousers have been causing trouble of late. You know how it is, protests, riots, and all sorts of unpleasant business. Of course, their anger's targeted directly at Uldara's upper crust. Like as not, they leave you a troupe of performers.
What? Like as not, they leave you a troupe of performers. Oh, they wouldn't leave a troupe of performers like you alone, I think is what he's saying. Still, the Syndicate cannot accept the risk of its honored guests suffering an Oh, no. Like as not, they leave you a troupe of performers. So, they wouldn't, but they're not going to risk it. Okay. We appreciate your concern, but I can assure you that it is wholly unnecessary. All members of my troupe are well trained in the art of self-defense. We are more than capable of taking care of ourselves. That's right. Besides, healing suffering and strife across the realm is precisely the reason we come here. Whatever sort of struggle your people face, why not let us look into the matter and see if we can't resolve it?
It is a gracious offer, but no. Keeping the peace is our sworn duty, and one we cannot simply impose on guests. Besides, we're trained soldiers, and you are not. For your own safety, you should take your leave of this place at once.
You haven't seen these dances.
These no ordinary dancers, you say? Well, I'm not entirely certain what you are implying. I suppose we have no reason not to take you at your word.
Very well, then. You and your friends may carry on. I just promise that you won't go looking for trouble, eh? He doesn't know.
Mistress Nashmira, leave this to me. I'll dance up a storm for these poor folks, calm their hearts, and put an end to any riots or uprisings.
I admire your spirit, Renard, and yet I cannot shake the sense that great danger does indeed lurk here. You may go, but only if Pebbleton accompanies you, and you must promise that you will not leave his side. Yeah, we can do that. Alright, the more the merrier, don't you agree, Pebbleton? Let's make for Stone's Throw. I'll race you there. Is that Stone's Throw? Hang on. Central. Oh yeah, that is the one. Okay. That was not the one I was thinking it was. I was thinking it would have been more the one that's, like, on the west side. I suppose that's a bit more built up than, like, was being implied, but... But yes, this would be a place that definitely needs some cheering up, so... Oh, there you are. Let's get started, shall we? Our first task is to figure out just who's behind these riots. Why don't we split up, ask around, and see what turns up? Huh? Oh, don't tell me you're worried about that silly promise I made to Mistress Nashmira. Come now, Pelton. Clearly she worries overmuch. You saw me on the stage. Do I look like someone who can't take care of herself? Now, let's see what these townspeople can tell us. Meet you back here when we're both done, alright? This feels a lot like the, is it the Gunbreaker? Yeah, I think it was the Gunbreaker questline, where a lot of it was, like, touring different cities in, Eorzea to kind of, like, well, I mean, for the Gunbreakers, it was just, like, finding work. Obviously the dances have a little bit of a different, slight different bent on it, but... Right. There's been some trouble here of late. Won't catch me dead getting myself involved. Whoever's behind it all, wish he'd just bugger off and give us some peace and quiet for once. Of course, they don't stop, but that doesn't stop the brass blades from glaring at me, me askance... glaring at me... What the fuck is that? A-S-K-A-N-C? With an attitude or look of suspicion or disapproval.
Askance.
Askance. Look at me askance every time they come through the neighborhood. Not that I can blame them, I suppose. Rumor has it the true culprit's an expert in throwing the authorities off his trail. Oh, goody. Looking for some rabble-rousing rider, you say? I might know a thing or two. What's it to you? None of us here in Stone's Throw have much love for the rich, this much is true. Still, it wasn't until lately when someone started talking about actually giving them their due. Thought they were just talking big, but lately it seems they've been putting their plot into action. Oh dear. And yeah, of course she's not there. Who could have seen this coming? Hey, you there. You're friends with that Makote girl. The one with the fancy dress? Yeah. She was asking about the riots, you know. Well, would you believe I actually saw her talking to one of the blackguards responsible for it? Oh, God. Last thing I saw, he was leading her somewhere away. I'd go after her if I were you. Well, I wouldn't. Never had nerve for that sort of thing. But I reckon you should, before the poor thing comes to harm. Oh. Awesome. Christmas. God damn it. Immediately stunned. I forgot I had that. Well, to be fair, I don't think I should have it at this point, but... Because I think it's 72 you get that? Oh, Pelton, you really saved my skin. This man told me he'd take me to the rioters' hideout. He led me there, and then... To be honest, I'm still unsure entirely what I witnessed. It was the strangest thing. As soon as he brought me here, his body began to sway and spin in the strangest way. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was dancing. But we can talk about that when we're back in safer environs. I should probably summon the brass blades and file an official report. Meanwhile, could you return to the city and let Mistress Neshmira know I'm alright? And tell her... I'm sorry for breaking my word. What did she say? It was the strangest thing. As soon as he brought me here, his body began to sway and spin in the strangest way. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was dancing. I wasn't actually paying to the attacks they were doing to me, but it looked like both of them were melee. So is she talking about someone else? I probably should have paid a bit more attention, but I was too busy going, hang on a minute, I've got other cooldowns I can use, and trying to work them in. I need to give this character a big think over my, bars. Peloton's the only one that doesn't have, like, 2 hotbars over the center, like the others. So I've got, like, what is it, 24 potential buttons in the center. Instead, I've got, like, 1 hotbar that I really only use 4 of, and then a full one here, which is, like, entirely almost full so far. Yeah, I've got to think about how I have this set up, because I don't have enough room to put all of the stuff I want to. And I've thought about doing stuff where, like, the cooldown's more implied by a different cooldown, because obviously that would help me keep them aligned at all times, right? Like, oh, you know, this button I use with this button anyway, so I might as well just have them as part of the same thing. It's what I do with Dragoon, for example, because it's got multiple 2-minute cooldowns. But yeah. I still need to rethink it, because I'm probably going to need a bigger thing for Machinist, just, like, eyeing the spell ability list. I see. I had a feeling this would happen. Do not blame yourself, Peloton. You are not her keeper. I'll deal with the girl myself when she returns. That said, I am curious. Can you tell me of this strange dance she says her would-be captors were performing? Oh, so one of them did actually... Shit, well, I didn't pay attention to that then. I saw one of them throw up Rampart, and I was like, oh yeah, melee, cool. But, yeah. Hi. Good news, friends. Thanks to your efforts, we have apprehended the firebrand. Peace should return to the Stone's Throw for now, or at least until the next rabble-rouser decides to fan the flames. Still, there is one part of the story that does not sit well with me. The girl there claims she saw her captors dancing, but those we took into custody swear to the last man they remember no such thing. They deny that they were dancing. But why ever would they feel the need to lie about something so innocuous when already convicted of far more heinous crime? Sorry, that wasn't a... It is not precisely a lie. You see, from here, the tale gets even stranger. They claim to have a vague recollection of their bodies moving, but insist they had absolutely no intention of doing so. They went on to say they couldn't even remember where or why they came up with the idea to riot in the first place. On the contrary, they seemed almost relieved, as if some evil spirit had been banished from them. Ah. Sounds like our friends have been partaking in a particularly unstable and unsavory alchemical concoction. At any rate, the Brass Blades will be taking over the investigation from here. Thank you for your assistance, and please carry on with the preparations for your performance with our blessing. Okay, so why are you really traveling Eorzea? Because at this point I'm like, she knows something, doesn't she? I'm sorry, Mistress Nashmera. I would have stayed with Peloton like you said. Oh, I should have stayed with Peloton like you said. Together I'm sure we could have worked things out peacefully. In the end, I was not able to dance even a single step. Just as a Kriegstands can enthrall and inspire, so can it serve us in battle. A true dancer must be prepared for both possibilities at all times. Peloton was able to display his skills as a dancer in battle today, and I suspect it is for that reason that your would-be captors... Never mind that. Wait, what? Peloton was able to display his skills as a dancer in battle today, and I suspect it is for that very reason that your would-be captors... What's that supposed to mean? Renar, you disappoint me. It is not a lack of dancing prowess that led you to your failure today. No, it was the overconfidence that led you stray from your partner's side. When Troop Falcium dances, we dance as one. We dance to stir hearts and lift spirits, not merely to show off our skills. Though our admirers might shower us with empty praise. I thought you understood this, but it's clear you still have much to learn. I'm sorry, Mistress Mashmera. I promise I will not repeat my mistake. She says as she immediately fucking leaves. Forgive her for making you suffer the girl's foolishness, Pelton. Though she has grown and skilled, it is clear she is still a child in more ways than one. I can only hope that she will take today's lesson to heart, lest she eventually pay the price. Is that not going a bit too far? Being a true dancer is about more than knowing how to move one's feet. I must be tougher on Renard. I must be tougher on Renard than anyone, lest Troop Falcium fail to carry out its sworn duty. I can see you are confused by my words. Do not worry. All will become evident in due time. Yes, both you and Renard will understand all too well. Whoever is doing shit is your dance partner, I suspect. With that, I must prepare for our forthcoming performance. This time I will be asking Renard to take the stage alone. She may consider it her opportunity to reflect upon her actions today, and, God's willing, learn and grow from her missteps. Meanwhile, perhaps it would be best if you two return to your training. If you and Renard truly mean to bring out the best in one another, both of you will need to work harder than ever before. Farewell for now. Let us meet up again when it is time to move on. And now, I do believe it's time I did some investigating of my own. Dance with Duskwights. Nashmera is ready to move on to new environs. It's good to see you, Pelton. You'll be pleased to hear that our exhibition in the Sultanate was a rousing success. Renard gave quite the inspired performance. It seemed the girl has indeed taken a lesson to heart. That leaves Gridania as the final stop on our three-nation tour. I mean to depart immediately, but I must confess that the curious developments in Uldar have given me pause. Upon our arrival, let us first pay a visit to the Adder's Nest and inquire as to any strange happenings about town. Do not ask me why, but I believe it is best we stay vigilant. It's like seeing another dancer made them dance a bit. I don't know, that just wasn't really clear from the battle, but I have to admit, like... So, there was a criticism I made of the Black Mage questline a while ago, where there was the whole thing about, the White Mage, kicking up a fuss about us killing the, opposing Black Mages, but then, someone, like, refuting that, saying, no, they killed themselves by casting all that magic. We weren't the ones that did that. But mechanically, you were just killing them. Like, there didn't seem to be anything indicating that they were, in fact, actually the ones killing themselves, right? It's a similar thing here, where, like... Well, I don't want to quite levy the same criticism, because, like... Maybe if I look back at my own footage, like, I'll see that they're clearly dancing, and I just didn't see. And I don't know if it's meant to be communicated that, like, they... Well, it seems like everything up until the point that they were captured, they were being controlled by someone. But Nashmera seems to be, like... indicating that they were acting up specifically in front of us because because Pelton was dancing? And I don't know if that was clear through gameplay. Again, it's one of those things where, like, really merging the storytelling with the gameplay can really sell things a lot more, and it can make people who are playing it kind of cotton onto something that's strange, right? Like, if you look at one of the enemies in the Black Mage questline, and they've got this debuff where it's like every time they cast a spell, they take damage, it's like, Wait. Wait, they cast spells and take damage? That's weird. And then when an NPC later brings it up, you can be like, oh yeah, that's right. They were, like, dying every time they cast a spell. Similar thing here, where, like, if there was obvious tells that someone we were battling was dancing, I would be, before someone else even brought it up, like, it was weird that they just started, like, dancing at some point. Or, like, when I did specific moves on them, they did specific things, but... yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Like, in the Black Mage's case, I'm, like, 90% sure they just didn't do that, and in the Dancer's case, I'm not sure whether I missed it or not. So this is Gridania. Forest is beautiful indeed, but I can't help but feel something ominous in the air. Under normal circumstances, Gridania would be more than willing to host any performance, provided it does not anger the elements. However, I fear our current situation is far from normal. Oh, here we go. Ah, Pelton. Sorry to say that my fears appear to have been well-founded. Gridania too has seen its fair share of social unrest of late. Pray explain the situation to my colleague, good sir. You are familiar with the Duskwights, yes? They are a clan of Ellison who eschew the shackles of urban life and instead choose to live in isolation. For the most part, both sides choose to leave the other well enough alone. Recently, however, events have taken a troubling turn. Groups of Duskwights have been assembling for reasons unknown, holding secret gatherings on the outskirts of the forest. Whatever their aim, we can be certain that it is nothing good. The Twin Adder is content to let them be, provided they do us no harm. When they turn to thieving and threatening our way of life, can't simply turn a blind eye. To say the tensions between the Duskwights and our citizens have been rising would be an understatement. To this point, troublemakers among the Duskwight have primarily acted alone, which makes the manner in which they are now plotting something together in plain sight all the more concerning. Some here in the nest even believe that they are sowing the seeds for a violent uprising. As fortune would have it, these Duskwight rabble-rousers have recently been sighted with peculiar frequency in the immediate vicinity of the venue where I had hoped to hold our performance. Needless to say, we must address the immediate danger before we can even think of going forward with our performance. Pelton, Renard, what say we investigate the matter? Together, this time. Consider it done. I'll make up for my failures, you just watch me. Once I've soothed the Duskwights' hearts with my dance, rioting will be the furthest thing from their minds. What she said. Thank you, friends. That settles it then. Leave the matter of the Duskwight demagogues to my colleagues here. I suppose there would be some merit in delegating the task to you, rather than risk fanning the flames between the Duskwights and our own citizens. And yet, you are a dance troupe, are you not? Are you certain that your friends here are up to the task of suppressing an armed revolt? You can be assured they are. What it is worth, I too will be accompanying Renard and Pelton to ensure that everything is in order. Besides, there is something I would confirm with my own eyes. And with that, we should be on our way. The Duskwights in question are said to be congregating in the South Shroud. Let us meet first at the local tavern and formulate a plan of attack. Cool. In between both of the Aetherites. If we get into battle again, I am gonna pay very close attention to what's going on this time. Because yeah, I am interested to see them like bring more of that like weaving of narrative and gameplay into things. Obviously, a lot of the game does that. What is that? Oh, is that? Yes, that's Bard. We have done that on the stream yet, so. But yeah, like, a lot of the core game, the MSQ in particular, which obviously has like a lot more put behind it than other like smaller duties and side quests and stuff, has obviously been doing blending gameplay and narrative a fair bit. Especially when it comes to like isolated duties and stuff like that. But even in smaller ways, it's managed to do it. But again, it kind of needs to do that, and also has the resources to kind of spend that kind of micromanaging time. It's nice, though, to see like side quests also getting like a little bit more of that love. So I'm hoping there's a little bit more of that this time. Oh my god, scroll wheel. Does Mistress Nashmira have to follow us everywhere? And what was that about wanting to see something with her own eyes? According to one of the regulars here, the Duskwhite troublemakers were seen not long ago, just to the northeast of here. That's not all. A rumor says that they were, and I quote, gyrating and undulating in a most curious way. Whatever it was that we witnessed in Thanalan, it seems likely that it's afflicted the people here as well. We must investigate the matter with all speed. Come now. Ugh. Big mount. So I was told. We're halfway across the realm from Uldar. Why would these Dustwites be performing the same dance as the paupers in the Stone's Throw? Somehow I can't shake this feeling Mr. Nashmira knows more than she's letting on. Yeah, I mean, you and me both. Pelton, Mistress Nashmira, I think I saw something. Over there, behind the bushes. Okay. Well. That's it. That's the same creepy dance I saw in Uldar. Dance of the Damned. Yes, it is just as I feared. I'll explain everything in good time. For the moment, just leave them to me. Oh, okay. Be gone, meddlers. Leave us to our dancing. What in the... My legs. It's just they have a mind of their own. What the fuck? Oh, shit. Mistress Nashmira, look out! What the fuck? Okay, that's not what I was expecting. What? Where is this going? Holy shit. Good work, Pelton. Still, whatever in the world was that? Yeah, Nashmira, what the fuck?
Forgive me, Pelton. Thank you. To think I was scolding poor Renar for her overconfidence. In my heyday, I would have made short work of that thing, but alas, those days are long behind me. Don't be too hard on yourself, Mistress Nashmira. We all have our bad days. Besides, it's not as if you were just being reckless like me. But never mind that. What in the world did I just see? That creepy dance, that strange cloud of black ether. What does all this mean, Mistress Nashmira? Come now, I know you know more than you're letting on. I do. And I fully intend to share my knowledge with you. Once I have seen what I must see with my own two eyes. Wait, what? Once I have seen what I must see with my own two eyes. Oh, this wasn't enough. In the meantime, someone should hand over these men to the Twin Adders. But they didn't. I suppose you're right. We must treat your wounds as well. Pelton, could I ask you to return to the Adder's Nest and deliver our report? I'll tend to Mistress Nashmira's scratches and see that no other troublemaking Duskwights show up. I really don't know what accent to give her. Like, I assume she, like, from Thavnir, like, so, obviously, like, Thavnirian accent. But, like, at the same time, like, I don't feel I can keep that consistent, and I've tried to keep it subtle for main characters, and it just doesn't fucking work. So I'd rather not, do it too much, honestly. Gavin. What's this? You apprehended the Duskwight miscreants for us. Oh, splendid. On behalf of all Gridania, you have our gratitude. We will dispatch a unit to the South Shroud at once. My apologies for the delay, Pelton. Please report that our dancing Duskwight friends have been handed over to the proper authorities, and Renar's patched up my wounds, good as new. With sufficient rest, I should be back on the stage in no time. But didn't they not... weren't they being mind-controlled or something? Like, why are we putting them in prison? Not on my watch, you won't. I mean, pray do not... pray do not overexert yourself, Mistress Nashmira. You need your rest. Told you I could have handed over the culprits myself. I know, Renar. And yet I wanted to be there myself when they awoke. It played out exactly as I expected. They remembered little or nothing about their dancing, their secret gatherings, or any conversations that led up to it all. So they're gonna be released, right? Just being stubborn, no doubt. Worry not, friends, the Twin Adders will carry out a proper investigation. And yet, one thing concerns me. Is it true that these events bear a striking similarity to a situation you witnessed in Uldar? Yeah. What we have witnessed is none other than the Totentans, the dance of the damned. It is our God-given duty as dancers to see that it is never danced again. The dance of the damned? Our mission? What are you rambling about, Mistress Nashmira? I thought our mission was to lend strength and succor to the suffering and lift the spirits of the realm. That it is, yet the truth of exactly what this entails runs far deeper. Throughout our storied history, the dancers of Troop Falcium have saved countless lands time and again from a fate most dire. When war and calamity ravage the land, fear and anger fill men's hearts. These emotions fester, reacting with the ether around us, and in the air we breathe, the ground beneath our feet, to form an etheric manifestation of malaise that spreads like a dark cloud across the land. The weak, the downtrodden, the scorned and suffering. Sadly, it is these people who are oft quickest to fall prey to dark despair.
left unchecked, the shadow fully consumes them. Their hearts, their minds, in the end even control of their very limbs is taken from them. Stripped of the last semblances of sanity, they flail about in a manner most hideous. Tales tell of mothers blissfully unaware as they trampled their beloved children. Men who dance so violently they rip the limbs from their own bodies. This is the Totentans, the dance of the damned. What madness is this? You speak true, and this damnable dance you speak arises from the fear and anger in people's hearts. Why did it not manifest in the wake of the calamity, in Eorzea's darkest hour? Call me mad, but I think I understand. In times of great crisis, just surviving for another day requires all strength we can muster. People have neither the time nor the freedom of mind to dwell on emotions like hatred or anger. Runar has the right of it. It is precisely at this time when Eorzea has made great strides in its recovery, yet deeper wounds still go undressed, that your people are most susceptible to that damnable dance. So that is why our art was born so many ages ago. Not just to drive out the darkness from people's hearts in a figurative sense, but to literally cast down etheric shadows and free the afflicted from the clutches of the Totentans. Yes, this is the truth of Troop Falcium's Troop Falcium, passed down from principle to principle for generations. What I did for the Duskwights was to use my dance to extract the darkness from their hearts and give it physical form that can then be struck down and banished. It's been several centuries since the menace to of the Totentans last reared its ugly head. To be honest, when we first came to Eorzea, I was unsure as to what we would encounter. So as to not worry the two of you overmuch, I kept the truth from you. Yet, now that I have seen it with my own eyes, our mission could not be more clear. As the inheritors of Kriegstans, we must chase the shadow of the Totentans from this realm. I beg forgiveness for the secrecy, my friends, and ask that you lend me your aid. Yeah. I think he'd be a little miffed with the secret keeping. Of course you can count on us. After all, Pelton and I are dancers of Troop Falcium too. It's like you always say, dancer never abandons her partner. Why should you have to carry the burden of saving the whole realm all by yourself? Runar, Pelton, after all my harsh words and hidden truths, you are far too kind. I kind of admonished you a bit, but I must confess I'm struggling to understand all this, but one thing is clear. The dancing epidemic you speak of poses a grave danger to our realm. I will contact the other Grand Companies immediately and apprise them of the threat. Should there be any reports of similar phenomena in other nations, we would like to call upon you to deal with the matter. Forgive us the imposition. Clearly this is beyond our ability. Leave it to us. Nothing would honor us more than if the nations of Eorzea would place their trust in Troop Falcium and allow us to protect their people? What the fuck did that say? God, I can't read today. To perform for their people, yeah. And with that, only Ishgard and Alamigo remain on our itinerary. If the two Ishgard has had more time for its people to recover from the scars of war, let us make it our next destination. At any rate, we will need more time to properly prepare for the confrontation ahead. In the meantime, Runar, you are to continue your performances. You require more practice still before I can bequeath to you all the secrets of the Kriegstans. You can count on me, Mistress Neshmira. And you, Pelton, pray continue to hone your skills in battle. If we hope to prevail against the Totentans, we will need your martial skills as much as we need your dancing. Well, no, it is not enough that we lure out shadows out of people's hearts. We must dispel the darkness for good, lest it simply drift on until it finds another unsuspecting host. Yes, we'll be needing your strength more than ever. And with that, I too should prepare myself. our true last act draws ever closer at hand. You know, it's funny. When they were initially talking about that, it definitely sounded a lot more like, it definitely sounded like something very similar to the Endwalker problem. It's interesting that Ether was doing that. I guess, like, I guess the thing is that from a, like, from one, like, yeah, Dynamis and Ether have this, like, interesting, interesting relationship where, like, Ether is, like, actual memory and can be given form, whereas, like, Dynamis has been shown to be, like, more, like, raw emotion than any particular, like, I guess memory, which I guess is the difference there, right? Like, if you blasted someone with Ether that was a memory, they would see that memory, but, like, hitting someone with Dynamis in a similar way wouldn't communicate anything in particular. It would just, like, invoke that feeling with someone. Invoke that feeling in someone. I wonder if this, like, gave them the idea. Nashmira is smiling at you expectantly. Ah, Pelton. Your timing is impeccable. I just received word from Ishgard. The powers that be have decided to welcome Troop Falcium with open arms. Fortunately, there are no rumors to suggest that a Totentanz has already struck in the city, or any of the surrounding regions in Kurthus. And yet, word has it that some of the less privileged residents of the city have grown increasingly vocal of late, not entirely unlike that we witnessed in Uldar. We must be vigilant. And so I would like to ask you and Renard to make for the Holy See as soon as you are able. I would join you, but I fear my wounds are not healing as quickly as I had hoped. I would only slow you down. Leave it to us, Mistress Nashmira. No matter what shadows plague... Oh my god, same number again. I'm getting called by a number, like, that's just not leaving messages that I don't recognize, and... yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they leave a message so I can figure out who it is. No matter what shadows plague the people's hearts, there'll be no match for your two favorite proteges. Come, Pelton. Ishgard awaits us. Which way was it again? Yes. Very helpful, Will. Hey. Yeah, I was about to say. Why are my arms and legs feel like they're going to freeze and snap off like icicles? How can you even bear with this, Pelton? Yeah, I've gotten used to it. Also, I dressed a bit more appropriately. Huh. Suppose adventurers like you get to experience all sorts of climbs in your travels. Perhaps with time I'll get used to it too. Anyhow, our first order of business is to pay our respects to our hosts. I've been told that one Sir Handelo, awaits us at a place called the Congregation, that they call the Congregation. I take it that you know the way? Wait, is this the same person we talked to in the Dragoon questline? The one that's, like, in basically where, Emmerich stands a lot of the time in the MSQ. Yep. Handaloop, Handelo, Probably Andalo, to be honest. Well, Matt Pelton, it's always a pleasure to welcome you back to Ishgard. Though I must say, I did not expect to see you return as a member of a traveling dance troupe. Just wait till you see him on stage. He's a sight to behold. Oh, but forgive me. My name is Ranamigo, and I thank you for opening the gates of your fair city to Troop Falcium. Oh, the pleasure is ours. I must confess that I found the report from our friends of the Twin Adder regarding this Dance of the Damned somewhat difficult to believe. But if even a great hero like Pelton here would come all the way here for this purpose, I would be a fool to dismiss the threat. And yet I have questions. The instructions from your Mistress Nashmira called for a rounding up prominent members of the commoner class and seating them front and center at your performance. I did not object, of course, but whatever purpose is this meant to serve? The Totentans is a plague that spreads from one man's heart to the next, and those whose hearts weigh heaviest with anger, fear, and unease are often the first fall prey to its clutches. If we can assemble influential members of the community and free their hearts from shadow before disaster strikes, these men and women could in turn raise the spirits of their peers. Mistress Nashmira believes this is our best hope for curtailing the spread of the Totentans. Yeah, the leaders go so others will follow. I suppose it is as logical a course of action as any. Very well. I have already identified suitable personages and extended to them an invitation to your performance. The venue will also be before the Gates of Judgment. We believe this location will be most accessible to those who live outside the city walls. Thank you kindly, my good sir. Well then, Pelton, we best get on our way. We don't want to keep our audience waiting out there in the freezing cold, do we? Oh, why did I remind myself of the cold? You're gonna have to do more than limber up to fight off the cold there. Wait, Gates of Judgment? Oh, shit, right out. Actually, is there a... I don't think I've ever used this before, but... Yes, no, there is one that goes out there. I think I never used this one because the only one I ever would have used during the MSQ would have been the one that heads north. Out to Falcon's Nest, but there isn't one because... I don't know. Wow, yeah, okay, this isn't suspicious at all. Jesus Christ. Could have given, like, you know, a more, like, maybe even in Camp Dragonhead or something, just not like, out the open with, like, boss monster on the field. Talk about an imposing audience. Now, let's give him a show to remember. Oh, and Pelton, let's keep the true purpose of our performance to ourselves, alright? We don't want to cause a panic after all. If we can draw out, dispel the darkness before the Totentan strikes, our task will be that much easier. And besides, we want our audience to enjoy the show, don't we? Oh, I must admit, I'm a bit nervous. But I know we'll be fine if we trust in each other, alright? Trust in each other. Alright, here goes nothing. Watch closely and follow my lead. Okay, so that didn't have an encounter thing around it, so I presume this is going to be a cutscene and then something is going to be unleashed. Ladies, gentlemen, fair citizens of the Holy See, hailing from distant Razathan in the east, we are Troop Falcium. Today we dance for you the Kriegstance, an ancient art passed down to us from the days of yore. Though the Kriegstance was born on the battlefield, it is a dance that brings healing and succor. Your people suffered for too long the horrors of the Dragon Song War. Let our performance fill your hearts with hope and heal any scars that may still linger. And now, without further ado, let the show begin. Never seen dancing like this before. It stirs the very depths of my soul. Just watching her, I can feel all my pain and anger melting away. Oh, yeah. Okay. Not that summoning those two things behind everyone is gonna fucking... Don't worry, this is all part of the show. Pay no mind to those ominous clouds. It's all part of the performance, you say. Good save, Renar. Yes, True Falsium spares no expense in treating our audience to a spectacle for the senses. Get over here now! That's your cue, Pelton. Now sweep these nasty shadows away. Yeah, it's not like we're leaving the equivalent of a like pure void scent out in the open that might attack the fucking. I mean, they're goddamn right there. Holy shit. See? Nothing to worry about. I didn't just throw blades toward you. Hey, Haunted. How's it going? When I received a southern invitation to this performance, I didn't know what to expect, but that was simply remarkable. Ever since the show ended, my mind is clear, and all my troubles don't seem so bad anymore. And I the same. I must say that last scene where those fearsome shadow beasts appeared was particularly dramatic and invigorating. Strangest feeling. Even though my lot in life hasn't changed a bit, I feel like I'll be able to face tomorrow with head held high. Oh, you folks are far too kind. But I thank you, one and all. Never in my life have I felt so proud to be a dancer. Going good, randomly passed out at 8. It's 1 now, so time for Wolfie stream. Yeah, I was gonna say it is like fairly late, even for you. Nothing quite like seeing all those smiling, satisfied faces. Don't you agree, Pelton? Just the thought that we were able to bring a measure of happiness and hope to these proud, strong people makes all the hard hours of training worthwhile. And can you believe it? We were able to stave off the shadows before the Totentans even struck. I do believe we've more than done Nashmira proud. I dare say our job here is done, so why don't we head back to Gridania and share the good tidings with everyone. I'll race you there. So, I don't want to lay this at the feet of the job quests. I don't think it's necessarily their job to do the kind of stuff, to address the kind of thing I'm about to talk about. But I will say that it is, like, given what we know later on about the troubles that the city-states are facing with addressing all of this, all the kinds of things that are causing, that would legitimately cause people to, cause unrest in cities and whatnot, it is a little weird that we're going around basically curing people of that when, like, from the dancer's perspective, it's not their problem to solve. The wider problems with the city-states isn't their problem to solve. They're just literally staving off the thing that can result as that can be caused as a result of that. But without actually redressing the other things, it does feel a little bit like just placating people to just deal with their lives and not think to maybe try and change things. Yeah, it's just like, This quest line is just a tad off because of that. Not that it's the dancer job quest line's fault, I think is the key thing here. This is a really interesting notion, and again, this does come back later in a bigger form, in a later expansion. Well, not this thing specifically, but, you know. But yeah, like, it uses this kind of thing, the game uses this kind of thing a lot in side quests, And it really just doesn't feel like the MSQ's made a lot of progress in these areas. Like, Gridania is horrendously racist still towards, like, most people, and I think the conflict between them and the Duskwhites is, like, a thing kind of like that. Or a thing that points towards that. There's obviously, like, the huge wealth inequality problems in Uldar. There's the internal turmoil in Limsa, which admittedly is addressed, like, in this expansion that this job came in. In Ishgard, there's still, like, a big disparity between... there's a similar disparity to Uldar, although it seems like the problem there is less an explicit wealth problem, and more like a, like, nobility and peasantry thing. Like, it's not quite the same. And, like, while the whole resolution of Heavensward, like, going towards a more democratic system is meant to kind of address that, like, there is still this problem of, like, almost austerity, which I guess is probably a wealth thing, but, like, it's a little different from Uldar. It's not just, like, the absolute extreme capitalism thing. It's more like a... we're trying to get out of a place where we basically had a king. Yeah. And, like, obviously that causes problems, and in a world like Eorzea, there are problems that that arise out of that need addressing, that aren't just the root causes, because obviously shit manifests and those things manifesting bad. But yeah, it is, like, I really hope stuff like that gets examined a lot more, because, like, it doesn't need to, like, you know, you can't just solve it in, like, an expansion. Like, I don't know. I don't know, like, how you tackle these long form in terms of the, like, storytelling in the game. But I do think there needs to be, like, shades of progress here, and, like, leaders acknowledging that stuff. Like, the Admiral of Limsa kind of acknowledging that, yeah, they fucked over all the beast tribes, and we're literally going to make that up to them. Like, actually stick to our agreements from here on, and literally putting down, like, a racist uprising in her own city. Like, yeah, that's the kind of thing I want to see. And then, like, you see the beast tribe relationships kind of build up a bit more, and you can directly point that back to, like, Merlwyb, like, basically throwing down the gauntlet of, like, no, we are going to make friends with the beast tribes, because we all benefit from that. Even the beast tribes, even us. And it worked out. And it addressed a lot of shit. Yeah, I hope more of that happens, because otherwise, stuff like this looks worse in hindsight then. Because, like, oh, there are all of these people treating the, manifestation of problems, but not the symptom. Oh, sorry. They're addressing all of the symptoms of the problem and not the root cause of it. Right? Oh, the Totenstans is happening. Uh-oh, the Final Days and shit is coming as well. Final Days is an extreme example, but yeah, it's... eh. Pelton, it's Mistress Nashmira. She's gone. What do you mean she's gone? Settle down, Renar. Nothing ill has befallen our leader. She has simply taken a leave of absence, entirely of her own volition. What? Said she had a matter to attend to with an old friend. Same friend who introduced her to our patron, Master Gegeruju, if I recall. She was reluctant to go into detail, but it would seem this individual is also familiar with the Totentans. And has been researching the situation in Alamigo on our behalf. Miss Nashmira means to join her there and scout out a suitable venue for our ultimate performance. She's asked that you and Renar continue training on your own until such time as she summons us. Would it have killed her to at least wait for our report? Well, does that mean she actually trusts us? I think Will would be a bit more skeptical, considering she's kept shit from us already. If Mistress Nashmira believes in our ability to handle affairs, I suppose we owe her the same in return. Now that Alamigo has finally been freed from the Garlean yoke, surely it's only a matter of time before its people are ready to welcome us with open arms. At the same time, much like Ishgard, it is a land whose people have known more than their fair share of suffering. We will need to be at our best to deliver them from the dance of the damned. You know what that means, Pelton. We must train with greater discipline than ever before. And last quest? Last quest. Renar has a letter in hand and is excitedly waving it in your direction. Great news, Pelton. A postmogul just dropped off this letter from Mistress Nashmira. She says the stage has all been set for our performance in Alamigo. Have I remarked this stream that Rana's name is surprisingly similar to Alamigo? Why, she's even scouted out what she claims to be an ideal venue to host our exhibition. A village called Alagana that sits in the Girabania Highlands. Doubtless in part due to its location near the border, there are considerable fears among the villagers that the Garleans will return and retake their home with a vengeance. In other words, it is precisely the sort of place where the Totentans is likely to strike. At any rate, Mistress Nashmira assures me that she and her secretive acquaintance have made all the necessary preparations. The Alamiga resistance, she says, has been seen fit to ensure that Alagana's most prominent residents will be in attendance. If we can perform as we did in Ishgard and swiftly dispel the darkness from their hearts, surely they will be able to influence their fellow villagers and stave off the onset of the Totentans. What did she say at the very end of the letter? Oh, yes. Renar Pelton, the success of our tour and the very future of Falsium itself rides on you. I'm counting on you to rise to the occasion. Are you as excited as I am? Let's make this a show for the ages. With that, let us set out to Alagana. We mustn't keep Mistress Nashmira waiting. Don't know if I should be worried for what we're about to see. Because I feel like the threat needs to get a little bigger here. And I'm worried that Nashmira has decided this moment to kind of... yeah, just kind of dip. Do not see her around. Ah, there you are, Pelton. Have you by chance seen Mistress Nashmira? Can't find her anywhere. But I'm sure she'll be along soon. She wouldn't miss our performance for the world. And look at what I found. I scoured the troops' wardrobe to find outfits befitting our grand finale. One thing's for certain, we'll be dressed to impress. And remember, mum's the word about the Totentans, alright? We want our audience to enjoy the performance without worrying themselves with the terrible truth behind it all. Well then, whenever you're ready to take the stage, you know where to find me. Well, yeah, right here. This is it, Pelton. Ready to raise the curtain on our final act? Sure. 395. Wow, I didn't even hit that yet. Jesus. Alright. What do you got? Oh, maybe a crowd is going to summon something huge. So close and yet so far. For all who cannot make the voyage to our home, we bring our art to yours. Hailing from Radzatan across the sea, I present the incomparable, transcendent Troop Falsium. Is. Today we perform for you the ancient dance of our ancestors, a spectacle to stir the heart, enrich the mind, and chase away the shadows of doubt that plague your soul. Feast your eyes upon the Kriegstans. Oh, there she is. Yeah, this is gonna form something big, I feel. Yep. Who will we... Wait, oh. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right on cue. Alright, Pelton. Let's take out that nasty thing before our audience realizes it's not just for show. I do like this aspect to that, like, a big part of this is to keep it as part of the performance, which is a big... which is, like, tying into the dancer's ability to kind of just work within, like, unexpected yeah, no, that... I actually really, really appreciate that part of the kind of challenge here that we all have to face. Just look at those enraptured faces. The excitement in the air is almost palpable. I know they're about to get a show the likes of which they've never seen. The Almegans are counting on us, Pelton, in more ways than they themselves even know. I must dance and not stop dancing until every last shadow has been purged from their hearts. This is the performance we were born to give. Oh, no. I was just trying to turn it up. Could have sworn that shadowy mesh just popped out from within my own body, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Can I... Dance partner? Yes, okay, good. Oh, right, I don't have that anymore. Huh? Okay. Use all the abilities, player. That's a lot. Oh, there's Nashmiro. Exaflares? Really? Okay. I wasn't expecting that, to be completely honest. More darkness, huh? Oh, yeah? Okay. Jesus, not fucking around. Which I appreciate. A lot of these duties can be a little bit kind of, anemic, but this one's had a decent amount of stuff. And, yeah, Enrage. Liberate all the remaining ether. This must be the grand finale. I wonder what marvelous wonder... Oh, right, that's the crowd. Oh, shit. I still got hit by that. Oh, they finally gave me a fucking damage up. Oh, wait, no, that was my own. What am I talking about? That was fun. Oh, we don't, wow, okay. Kinda just zoomed past the end of the show there.
Mistress Nashmira! Oh, I knew you wouldn't miss our grand finale. And your dancing, why, you're every bit as enchanting as I remember from all those years ago. Sharing the stage with you truly was a dream come true. I simply had to make amends for my embarrassing display in Gridania, did I not? My wounds had all but healed entirely, so I redoubled my training efforts after arriving here in Alamigo. I dare say I feel as spry as I have in years. And yet, there can be no doubt. You and Pelton were the true stars today. To think that you have come so far in such a short span of time. Maybe I should have just admired your performance for the wings instead of stepping in. Tut-tut, Mira. I seem to recall you telling me just the other day that the girl was not still ready for the spotlight.
Yeah, who is this? Oh my god! Flamine? Oh, that's a great character pull. Holy shit.
You know me, Lamine. I am strict with my students because I expect only the best from them. And these two have done me proud today. Fancy meeting you here, Pelton. I must admit, it gave me quite a start when my mirror here told me that you, of all people, had joined her merry little troop. Mira and I go far, far back, you know. After these horrific events unfolded in Ul'dah, I hid away in Thavnir for some time. It was then that we first made each other's acquaintance. Song and dance go together rather well, needless to say, and our friendship rapidly blossomed. When she turned to me for assistance in planning Troop Falcium's tour of Eorzea, I was more than happy to do my part. It does not surprise me that an accomplished adventurer would have many friends across the realm, but never would I have suspected you and my dear Lamine were so close. Truly, fate must have brought us together for a reason. I feel the same. Presence alone has motivated me to grow in ways I never would have thought possible. You may give me the courage, strength, and determination to be more than
Oh, you have given me the courage, strength, and determination more than I was.
Thought I recognized that face from somewhere. From the liberator of Alamigo to traveling performer, eh? Not a part I'd have predicted, but I'm hardly surprised to see you emerge triumphant whatever you do. Aye, that was truly a performance for the ages. Here in Allegano, we don't get much exposure to foreign cultures. Rather stimulating, that was. Specifically the grand finale where you chased off those bloody shadow beasts. Got the blood pumping, I'd say. I only wish there was more we could do to show our appreciation.
Think nothing of it, my good sir. Just knowing that we brought a measure of joy to Alamigo in its time of need is reward enough for us.
Too kind you are, miss. The road ahead of us is a long one, but thanks to you, we can stride down it with a spring in our step. Know that our village is always open to you, should you ever be willing to grace us with another performance. Farewell, my friends.
Hell yeah. Phew. For a second I thought he'd realized the true nature of those shadows. But no, the threat of the Totentans is gone for now, and it seems no one's the wiser. This is heartening indeed. And with that, we should prepare for our departure. The Alamegans were kind enough to invite us in these trying times. We mustn't linger so long that our presence becomes a burden. I too should be on my way. It was a pleasure and honor both to see you on the stage again, Mira, and you as well, Pellerton. Till our paths cross again, go in safety. Yeah. Okay, so for context, that character is the mother of, like, one of the very main characters early on in the game. She was essentially like a traveling bard. I mean, she kind of mentioned that she was, like, involved a lot in song. And she's been around for a fair while. In fact, she kind of lingers around, like, the place where, like, a lot of the main quests take you, like, back after a mission and stuff like that. So she's been around and she's gotten a fair bit of development. But man, that was a great character to pull, not only because of her relationship to, like, not only her relationship to, what the fuck is the word I'm looking for here? Like, performance, song, and dance and all of that. But again, it's just another example of, like, oh, we don't need to actually create another character for this. We actually have a character that would fit really well in being someone who is in Neorzia, who knows about the Totentans, or would be reasonable to know about the Totentans, and has a connection to the same kind of performance art that dancers partake in. Like, that's just perfect. Now, what's interesting to note here is that I reacted like that to this and not to the Estinian one, for a very good reason. Estinian is very involved in the MSQ for, like, ever since Heavensward. Stormblood's the one where he takes a little bit of a, like, in the darkness, but he ends up being important as it leads into Shadowbringers. So, like, when I came back to that questline and saw him, I was like, oh, of course they did Estinian. Estinian's the Zero Dragoon. But because of his amount in the spotlight, especially given the later expansions, I was kind of disappointed to see that, like, a job quest character that was established and brand new wasn't brought back for that. I do want to note here that, like, it's not that they should be bringing back the characters that are the most relevant, but I feel like giving relevancy to characters that are just kind of appeared and don't have much relevancy anymore, or, like, not in an unrealistic way, mind you. Bringing back characters that make sense to fit into this kind of thing, but are characters that are worth having on screen, I think is the thing. Flamine is a really good example of that, and I think the difference between her appearing here and Estinian appearing in the Dragoon one is that there were characters already established in the Dragoon questline that I would have preferred to see, and Estinian gets a lot of screen time already. obviously he's very relevant to stuff that happens in the Dragoon questline, but, like, the other character, the brand new character they made specifically to examine parts of Ishgard would have been great to bring in because of what they ended up doing with that character later on to see her improve over time. Whereas Flamine hasn't had a lot of relevance outside of her connection to the character I spoke about earlier, as well as just kind of being around the Scions, but she really hasn't been in the MSQ since, like, A Realm Reborn? Like, she appears in a couple of cutscenes in Shadowbringers, but she doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of like an incidental thing. So seeing her actually take part in a completely isolated questline that I didn't really think she'd appear in, but when she appeared, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's one of the things this game always does brilliantly, is it manages to pick out characters you've seen before, makes sense to fit into this particular thing, and is a good opportunity to just have a character that's not on screen too much and give them a bit more prominence. Like, I fucking love that. Shove Estinian back in the locker. He has plenty of time now. I would be interested to think if I did that questline before Shadowbringers and Estinian really stepped into the limelight. I do wonder if I would have had the same reaction to him appearing there. Because the second that character said, oh, we hired a Dragon Slayer with someone who's pretty good with a lance that offered to slay a dragon, I was like, okay, that's Estinian. Whereas, like, if it was Houstone, the other Dragoon that was introduced in that questline, I would have been like, oh, shut up, is Houstone here and, like, actually, like, powered up and, like, doing better than ever? But no, it's just, yeah. Long-winded way of saying, I think this, like, I do praise, like, this game bringing back characters, but I think there's a little bit more to it than just, like, oh, it's them. It's more like, oh my god, it makes so much sense for you to bring them back, and they haven't been on screen. This is an opportunity for this character to expand. And they basically kind of implied a relationship between Nashmira and, Flamine. Like, oh, my dear Mira, my dear, Lamine. Like, yeah, okay. I know what it means when someone drops the little, first letter apostrophe for Mikote. Like, I know. Well, that's the last of it. Our props are packed up and we're ready to take the road. I must say it's a touch bittersweet knowing this was our last performance, but I suppose even the best things must come to an end. Mistress Nashmira will go ahead to Limsa Laminsa to secure us passage back to Razathan. You'll stop by and see us off, yes? We'd like to pay you proper thanks before taking our leave of this land. I wonder if Nashmira is just around in Raz. I could probably go and check. Yeah, it's definitely taken a bit too long for me to go do some more stuff on the stream. I feel like this is a good ending point, I think, for the stream. But I am definitely curious to see if she just shows up somewhere. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna quickly... Shmera location. Does she appear in Endwalker? Well, actually, you know what? It would probably be... There is one more thing I need to confirm before doing that, though, and that's who... Like, do the NPCs actually leave, or do they kind of... Oh, actually, no, there is one near there. Someone doing gold selling. Yes, I'm going the right way. Yeah, I guess it depends on where the NPCs end up, because it sounds like they'll not be around here, but yeah.
There's no need for teary farewells, Pelton. We will meet again all too soon. I'm sure of it. Pelton, I'm so touched you really did come to see us off.
Well, to be fair, the quest marker was over your head, so I couldn't really not do it.
Thank you ever so much for all you've done. It was an honor to tour Eorzea with you and bring strength and succor to its people. You have my gratitude as well, Pelton. The people whose hearts you have touched will, in turn, inspire others. Yes, before long, the Dance of the Damned will be but a memory. Excuse me. And yet, until that time, we cannot let our guard down. I propose that we extend our tour in Eorzea in the event that there are yet people in this realm who still require our aid. Do you truly mean this, Mistress Nashmira? Pelton and I could keep dancing together. In good time, Renar, yes. Pelton is an adventurer, and one whose services are justifiably in high demand. It would not be very considerate of us to monopolize his services for our ends. And so we bid you farewell for now. Renar and I will remain in Limsa and consult with Master Gegeruju about potentially extending our tour to new locations. Pray come back and visit us on occasion, yes? Renar gets awfully lonely without company. Hey, that's not... Well, I suppose it is true. Keep dancing, Pelton, and let us eagerly await the day we can take the stage together anew.
Well, level 80 questline, and they would have made this questline and the level 81 like within the same dev cycle. So hopefully that level 80 quest is actually like pretty good. But yeah, again, in order to undertake the next dance quest, you must meet the following requirements. Shadowbringers, Courage Born of Fear. I think I still have to be 82. Yes, I have to be 80. And I'm only 73. Dang. Heck dang. No. That'll happen eventually. Yeah, I like that a lot more than the Dragoon questline. Again, it feels like, what was introduced in Stormblood? It was Samurai and... Hang on, let me look at the jobs that are here. Sure there was a second one, right? I'm not... Oh, Monk. Was it Monk? No. No, it can't have been. Alright, hold on a second. I'm going to have to refresh my memory. FF14 Stormblood jobs. Well, actually, looking at a wiki for just the Stormblood entry is probably a better way of doing that. Oh, Red Mage. That's right. Red Mage was the one introduced. Shit, I forgot about that. I completely forgot that was a Stormblood thing. Yeah, I did that so long ago. I just completely forgot when that was introduced. And the Red Mage, yeah, so it definitely feels like the job quests that started later are the ones that usually excel in the storytelling. And the later you get, the better they are. Like, the Dancer one's good. Gunbreaker one's good. The Sage and Reaper ones introduced in Endwalker, after Dancer and Gunbreaker and Shadowbringers, definitely are like top tier, like 100%. I think the only one that beats them out is the Dark Knight questline, which I'm beginning to see is actually just an anomaly. So it's no wonder that the Ishikawa, the person who wrote that questline, eventually ended up writing the entirety of an expansion. Because a lot of the job quests, well, you know, some of them are good, some of them aren't so much. The general gist of it is the earlier it started, the more inconsistent the quality is. Whereas, like, the job quests that start later tend to be the ones that are better written. And I think part of that is probably that it's like one contained storyline told over an entire expansion's dev cycle. So, if I understand correctly, Heavensward, or like the job quests, so the individual ones, not once you get to Shadowbringers, there's just role quests. But the job quests, if the whole thing is done in one dev cycle, they tend to be pretty damn good. The Samurai one was, actually, was Samurai one? Yeah, no, that was pretty decent, and it was in one thing. The Red Mage one's definitely really good as well. I really liked it. And that was done in one cycle. The Endwalker ones obviously were, because they had no follow-up. The Shadowbringers ones were, because they had the 60 to 70 introduction quests, and then they had a follow-up quest at the end. I don't think I've revisited the Gunbreaker one, though. That's for another stream, going back and cleaning up a couple of the Shadowbringers specific ones. But it definitely feels like the ones that started in ARR and Heavensward, Dark Knight excluded, so far tend to be the weaker ones in terms of the storytelling, and it's probably because, like, part of their story was part of the relaunch, which writing was all over the place. Another part of it was in a brand new expansion, so the first time they tackled, like, doing a expansion set of content, and then the last set were done in a situation where they had two different chunks of potentially very different storylines going on, and trying to get something coherent out of that, which, depending on how writers in that shuffled around, like, that could be a nightmare in and of itself. But yeah, like, the ones that start later tend to be the ones that have the more compelling storylines, and I'd be willing to bet part of that is, like, a lot of the job quest being, like, like, thought out entirely in one bit, rather than, like, someone doing a bit in ARR, someone doing a bit in Heavensward, someone doing a bit in Stormblood, and then someone having to write one in the end of Shadowbringers. It's kind of interesting to see that. Like, one day I really should do a tier list of all of these once I've gone through all of them. It's going to be a while before I do that, because I've still got a fair few to go, but yeah, I mean, the Dancer one I really liked, and the Dragoon one, like I said, like, I feel like there was it definitely showed. I think that's the best display of the job quests don't have too much time to flesh things out. And I think it, especially because it has the baggage of more job quests, or more complete job quest lines, it has to also it has to tell its new story and bring select things back, but not do too much. And I feel like you can feel that, like, tension in the Dragoon questline the most, because it, in my opinion, drops the ball a little bit on really, like, bringing things together. And maybe it was just because they needed to kind of, and it's possible that that's a result of, like, having to condense the story, but, like, keep something coherent in there. But, yeah, Dancer quest line, real good. I like that a lot. you know, Gegeruju being a creep aside. But I think that was at least in line with his portrayal in earlier parts of the game. Yeah, so, I do want to, I've positioned you badly, but fuck it, I can't be bothered changing your position now. I do want to do a little bit more Blasphemous during the week. It's probably going to be Thursday at this rate. I've got something special coming up on my Sunday. So the general plan, I think, is going to be hopefully a Blasphemous stream during the week. Elden Ring, finally, on Friday night. Well, Elden Ring, if I'm feeling it, because we are going up against Godskin Duo, and I'm going to try to solo that. I soloed fucking Radahn. I want to at least give that a good shot. The duo fights are ones where I'm like, I don't get as much enjoyment soloing them as others, mostly because they kind of do, and especially Elden Ring, which leans a lot on that, or gives you a shitload of options for multiplayer and, like, potentially, ways of not soloing content. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna give that a solo shot, because I feel like the couple of attempts I did do, I could see it. Like, I could see how I was gonna make this kind of work. But I need to be in the right mindset for that. And if DMC5 taught me anything, is that recently my temper hasn't been the best, so I need to keep that in mind. But on the weekend, I'm gonna do Hi-Fi Rush, which I unfortunately didn't get to again. Well, I didn't get to a second stream of last weekend. And then there'll be something on Sunday. I'm not gonna say it what it is tonight. I'm gonna make sure that I actually have things in place before I announce it, just in case I have to put it off. Because this week is also looking to be busy, and I don't know if I'm gonna get all the time I need to do the thing. You'll see what I mean when it happens, but, yeah. That is where we're gonna leave the stream for tonight. There's not gonna be anyone on, unless Haunted has randomly decided to stream this late at night. I don't think we're... Nah, I think we'll just end it there. Wait, what? Hold on. Sorry. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, she's doing it for a bit. Okay. I was very confused. I saw Mirakuru Taimu was streaming in the Hogwarts Legacy category. But no, that's a bit. She's actually playing RuneScape. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so, hopefully some Blasphemous, hopefully some Elden Ring. Hi-Fi Rush, and to be announced. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so, thank you very much for watching live or on the VODs. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a lovely day, and hope to see you all next time.